Hello, and welcome to the video lecture series presented by St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. My name is Ravinder. I am an assistant professor with the Department of ETCE or ECE. In the in this particular video lecture series, we are discussing the subject called Data Structures 2 or Advanced Data Structures. And for from the last lecture, we have started the discussion of the Dijkstra's or the Dijkstra's algorithm. And today I will try to conclude this particular topic. And from next lecture or so, we'll try to move on to next unit. I think we have spent enough time or devoted enough resources and time onto this unit, and we have covered each and every topic. So let's get back to the Dijkstra's algorithm PPTs. Okay. So in the last lecture, we have discussed that what are the weighted graphs, what are the advantages of weighted graphs, and how to calculate the shortest path, and what do you mean by the shortest path when we deal with the weighted graphs. So in this lecture, let us proceed. Now we have discussed this particular slide. Okay, now these are the some of the application that could be some of the problems that would be implemented by the use of the weighted graphs. All we have to do is we have to find the shortest path from some fixed vertex, say 1 to every other vertex. And some of the problems that we'll be able to solve with this kind of application of this advanced data structure will be the transportation of finished product from a factory to all the retail outlets, or when a courier company delivers item from its distribution center to the addressees. Okay, now these two problems, like the calculation of the budget calculation of transporting goods from the factory to one of the particular outlets, or the time allotted for the courier boy to deliver the parcel from the distribution center to the particular address, can be done with the help of the application of the problem using uh, weighted graphs. Okay, so let's move on. In this lecture, we're going to tackle a problem that has been shown out there in the slide. As you can see, I have weighted the graphs, uh, the edge between the vertex 1 and 3rd has been weighted as 80, the edge between 1 and 2 has been weighted as 10, and the edge between 2 and 3rd node or vertex has been weighted as 6. Now this particular graph has been, we have already discussed in the last lecture, so I will continue discussing that particular lecture. So let's move again. Now, as we have seen in the last slide, all we have to do is we have to calculate the shortest distance of reaching out to a particular vertex node from a fixed initial vertex by calculating the minimum weight. Like if we let's suppose we have initialized vertex 1 as the initial vertex, that is the fixed vertex, so we'll calculate the cost of reaching out to each and every node, that is from 1 to 2, 1 to 3rd, 1 to 4th, 1 to 5th, 6th and 7th, and then we will mark these particular node vertices as the minimum weight, or sorry, minimum cost that is required of reaching from a particular node to another particular node. Okay, or in this case from node number 1 to each and every other node. So there is one analogy that we can, let's say, relate to solve this problem efficiently. That is the analogy of oil depots edges, vertices as the oil depots and all the edges as the pipelines. So as in the last one, we can say that this vertex 1 is an oil depot, vertex 3rd is an oil depot, vertex 2nd is an oil depot, and we are these two oil depots are connected by a pipeline, which is this particular edge, which has a cost or weight of 80. I think you have understood what I am trying to say. Now to calculate the minimum cost of reaching out from one oil depot to another oil depot, we have to imagine a scenario that the first oil depot or the fixed oil depot catches fire. As you know that the fire travels at a uniform, let's suppose that fire travels at a uniform speed inside the pipeline. So fire will travel in all the possible directions along the pipelines, all the possible pipelines from this particular fixed node, and then that fire will actually signifies how fast that fire can reach cost wise from one particular depot to another depot. Okay, so it will be more clear when we take on that particular example. So let's move on. So let's suppose vertex 1 is the initial depot, is the fixed depot, and we have to calculate which particular oil depots will caught fire at what time. Okay, so I have to calculate the cost uh, of catching fire the depot second, and then the depot third, then the depot fourth, fifth, seventh, sixth, and this fire which is let's say expanding or moving out from depot 1 to all other depots via these pipelines is actually, we have supposed that this fire is actually traveling in a uniform speed, and we will also assume that the time taken by the fire to reach from one depot to another depot is equivalent to the weight that has been assigned to that particular edge or pipeline. So I can say that the fire will reach from depot 1 to depot 2 after 10 seconds. Okay, after 10 seconds. And at the same time, fire will also reach out from 1 to third, but as you see, the weight of this particular edge or pipeline is 80. So the area covered by fire in this particular pipeline will only be 1/8 of this complete pipeline. We'll see that in the next slide what I'm trying to say. So this is the first scenario, that after 10 seconds of initial fire that broke out in this particular depot, I will assume that the fire starts spreading out in each of the pipelines. We have only two pipelines that is being connected to depot number 1. One is that is connecting depot number 1 to depot number 3rd, and second is which is connecting depot number 1 to depot number 2. So fire will start spreading out in these pipelines, as these pipelines also carry oil. So after 10 seconds, the depot number 2 will also catches fire, because the weight of this particular edge is only 10. We assume that this is the time the fire will take to reach out from depot number 1 to depot number 2. And in those initial 10 seconds, the fire will only reach to 1/8 of the pipeline, which is connecting depot number 1 to depot number 3rd. Okay, now let's move ahead. After 6 more seconds, as you know, after catching fire, after the depot number 2 caught fire, again the fire will spread in all the directions. That is, this particular pipeline has already caught fire. The fire will spread towards the depot number 3rd and depot number 5th. So in next 6 seconds, the fire will reach at depot number 3rd. Okay, and in those 6 seconds, the fire will reach to this particular point in the pipeline that is connecting the depot number 2 and depot number 5th, because for fire to reach from depot number 2 to depot number 5, it will take around 20 seconds. Okay, and we have assumed that only 6 seconds have passed, because in those 6 seconds the fire is already caught up with depot number 3rd. So you can now see that for fire to reach from depot number 1 to depot number 3rd, it only needs 16 seconds and not the 80 seconds, which visually one can assume that this is the shortest path, but no, this is not the shortest path. Actually, from depot number 1 to depot number 2 to depot number 3rd is the shortest path, which only took 16 seconds, and as you can see from this particular line, the fire is still in its initial stages of the pipeline, because the total time to get fire from this particular place to depot number third is 80 seconds via this particular pipeline. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, the shortest path. The shortest path in weighted graphs will be decided on the basis of the weights of the edges. So weights of the edge will decide what would be the shortest path. Okay, now let's move ahead. Let's take some more time. Now after 14 more seconds, that is at t, let's say that, okay, at t is equal to 10 second, depot 2 caught fire. At t is equal to 16 second, depot number third caught fire, and at t is equal to 30 seconds, depot number fifth also caught fire. And as you can see, after t is equal to 16 seconds, the fire starts spreading out to the depot number fourth also. So as the fire will took normally 70 seconds, so it will take a long time to get from depot number third to fourth. In that time, meanwhile, the fire has already reached to fifth depot. Now at t is equal to 30 seconds, the fifth depot has caught fire. Now fire will again spread. As we are speaking about these depots, you will also see that this particular fire is gradually increasing towards depot number third, but still hasn't reached there. Okay, because only 30 seconds have passed until now, and it will take 80 seconds for fire to reach from this point to this point. Okay, now in next 10 seconds, the fire will reach from depot number 5th to depot number 7th, and that is after the initial broke out of fire. The 40 seconds have passed, the fire is already caught up with the depot number 7th, and after 5 seconds more, the fire will caught up with depot number 6th. Okay, what I'm trying to show you here is to reach from depot from vertex 1 to vertex 6th, the shortest path will be from 1 to 5, 7, 6th, and the total cost will be around 45. This is what I'm trying to signify here. The fire is actually telling us, fire is actually reaching out from one particular place to another, and the time actually tells us the cost of reaching there. So according to the cost scenario, the shortest path is not, let me again say that, is not 1, 2, 5, 6, it is actually 1, 2, 5, 7, 6, because it will take some more time to reach from 5 to 6, and the fire has already got at the 6. So the only node which hasn't got fire until now is 4th. So let's move ahead in time, and at t is equal to 86 seconds, third one has already caught fire, fourth one has already caught fire, and all the other depots have already been caught in fire. So the maximum time that any node will take to route from vertex 1 is the node number 4th, or the vertex number 4th. But to reach out from vertex 1 to vertex 4th will take the maximum time, or the cost will be maximum in terms of cost of reaching out to other vertices. So from getting 1 to 4th will cost us around 86. To get from 1 to 3rd will cost us around 16 if we follow the shortest path route. From 1 to 2 will cost us around 10. From 1 to 5th cost us around 30. From 1 to 7th cost us around 40. From 1 to 6th will cost us around 45. So in that way, your system will calculate the shortest path on the basis of the weights of the graphs. Okay. So it doesn't matter if two particular nodes are connected directly or not. It solely depends on the weight that is associated with the connection between two vertices. I think it must be pretty clear until now, right now, that what I'm trying to say and what is the meaning of shortest path actually. Actually, this should have been the shortest cost path, not the shortest path, but that is what its creator has named it, so we'll stick to that. Now next is, let's try to do what we have already done. We'll try to compute the expected time to burn of the each vertex and update this time each time a new vertex burns. So initially what we will do in terms of algorithmically writing this shortest path algorithm is, we will assign the time to reach from particular vertex 1 to particular vertex third, let's say infinity, because we don't know how much time it will take. Okay, so traveling from 1 to third will take time infinity, traveling from 1 to 2 will take time infinity, traveling from 1 to 4 will take time infinite, traveling from 1 to 5 will take infinite, then 7 to infinite, then 6 to infinite. So initially all the cost of reaching out from a particular vertex to another one is infinite. And as we go through the procedure that we have already done in the last slide, we will update those values to the actual cost, to the minimum cost that has been levied upon to reach out from node or the vertex number 1 to that particular node. That is, the infinities that has been written with associated with all those vertices will be updated to the actual cost. And this is how we will done it. In the last slide, assume that there is infinite written up here in above 3, above 4, above 2, above 5, 6, and 7. And now, after updation, the weights, the cost of reaching out from node 1 or the vertex 1 to every other vertex has been updated. So initially, the cost of reaching out from 1 to 2 is infinity, but now after the application of the algorithm, the cost is now 10. Similarly, cost of reaching out from 1 to third is initially infinity or infinite, but now after the application of the algorithm, it has been updated to 16. As how we got 16 here, we have already discussed in the last slide. So if you don't get it, you can recall the past few minutes of the lecture, and you will, I think, get the idea what I am trying to say. Okay, so let's move ahead and see the final algorithmic representation of Zastra's algorithm, which you have to write in your let's say if it comes in your exam, the actual algorithm that you will write before explaining it. So this is here. Now this is not the actual algorithm you will write. I have connected this algorithm with the idea that we have taken in the last of the slides, that is the depots, the fire, the burnt depots, the unburnt depots, or expected time to burn a depot. Okay, now algorithmically, first we have to maintain two arrays. First is the burnt vertices. It will hold how many vertices are burnt until now, and initially false for all i's. That means initially there is no fire in the system at all. Okay, and next array will be that you will initialize. We can relate it to the expected burn time. That is how much time node will take to burn from an initial node or vertex. So initially we will initialize complete array with infinity. As we have discussed in the last slide, initially I will mark time to or the cost to travel from vertex 1 to vertex 2 is infinite before the application of shortest path algorithm. After the application of the algorithm, we will update all those infinities to the actual cost. Like for 2, initially the cost is or the time taken by fire to reach from 1 to 2 is infinite. But after the application of the algorithm, that has been updated to 10. This is what I am trying to say. Sorry. Okay, now we'll start with an initial vertex or the fixed vertex with respect to which you want to calculate all the expected burn time. So I will initialize node 1 or the vertex 1 as an initial fixed node, and I will initialize its value. So I will update its value as 0 because reaching out from node 1 to node 1 is actually 0. We are already on the vertex or node 1. Now will start the loop, and the loop will not stop until all the cost or the burn times are calculated from vertex 1 to all other depots or all other vertices. Okay, so we have to find j with minimum expected burn time. J is the edge weight I comma j, where I is the initial node and j is the node on which we are trying to calculate the expected time, burn time. After that, after you have calculated the burn time, you will set the burnt vertices j index equal to true, which is this particular array, in which initially we have initialized all the values equal to false, but I will now mark for j equal to true. That means we have already calculated the cost of getting from vertex 1 to that particular vertex, and then we will again start expected burn time from k to each neighbor of k of j. From that is, from j we will start calculating the burn time to each of its neighbors, and then again we will go to in the loop for the next nodes. So this is the loop actually. So this is the loop, and in this loop first we have to assign a cost to a particular vertex. After that we will mark that particular vertex as already let's say burned, and after that I will go to each and every neighbor of that vertex and start calculating time. Okay, and this is how it will go on again and again and again and again until all the vertices are burnt. Let's go ahead. Now this is the actual algorithm that you have to write, okay, in your let's say in your exam. Sorry, let's say let me come to this one. Actually you have to write this one, not this one. In this one I have let's say abbreviated the burnt vertices and expected burn time. That is all same. Let's get back to this one. This is the actual algorithm that you have to write in your exam if it comes, and you have to explain this particular algorithm. So for shortest path will be initialized, the function will be called with an argument source s. Source s will be the initial vertex from which you want to start calculating the cost. In the example that we have discussed, the s will be equal to vertex 1. Okay, now for I that start from 1 to n, that is for all the n is the total number of nodes or vertices in the graph, so we'll traverse each and every node. Okay, so first we will initialize two let's say arrays. The first is which will track the number of visited nodes, and I will initialize all of them as false as we have discussed in the last slide, and the distance initially which has been initialized as 50. Now this distance could be let's say can be connected with the expected burn time or the cost which I am saying. So this distance is actually the cost. So initially the cost of each node getting from the source to that particular node is infinity. Okay, now we'll first update the distance of the source node equal to 0, because getting from source s to source s is equal to 0, because we have already reached our destination. And now we'll go inside the loop. Now first we will see how many of the neighbors of initial vertices are not visited. Okay, now the first one which is not visited, that is the visited neighbor equal to false, which you can relate from this particular array, which says that okay, this for the node s, this particular neighbor is not visited yet, and we will calculate the distance u of getting to that particular node, which is minimum. Okay, which is minimum. Okay, that can be easily computed with the help of the cost. Okay, with the help of cost. After that, we will mark that particular neighbor as true. That is, okay, this has been visited and the cost has already been calculated. Now we'll move on from U, that is the neighbor which has been marked as U, to all its neighbors. That is, again, you can see now this loop is somewhat similar to this particular loop. Okay, so first neighbors is visited, its weight has already been calculated. Okay, now the distance has already been calculated. Now from moving on, let's say in the slide that we have taken, we have already calculated the distance from traveling 1 to 2. Now for 2, we will see each of its neighbors, that is third and fifth. First I will see which of them is not visited, that is third and fifth, and after that I will pick one, or the first one that I will encounter, and again try to apply the shortest algorithm. So sorry, we are again back. After choosing a particular neighbor of V or V of U, if the distance of getting to V is greater than the distance of getting to U plus weight of UV, so then distance of V is equal to distance of U plus weight of UV. So what we're trying to say here is, let me go back. So what is trying to say here is, first, in the first loop, we have initialized 1 as the initial node, that this is the source. So its distance is equal to 0. Then I have choose one of its neighbors, that is neighbor number 2. And I have calculated the distance, that is equal to 10. And then now I will see the neighbors of 2, that is third and fifth. Let's say we have chosen third because third is not yet been visited. For third, if getting to third, the cost of getting to third is less than cost which is associated with this edge, that is cost of getting from 1 to 2 to third, that is initial cost of 2 plus this particular value, is less than this weight here, so then cost of this particular edge, that is the distance of this particular edge, will be marked as this 6 plus 10. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is, if getting from 2 to third, that is distance from 2 to third, is less than this weight 80, then the distance of third will be updated as the distance of 2 plus the weight of edge between 2 and third, that is 10 plus 6 equal to 60. This is what we are trying to say here. So the minimum of 2 will be updated, and if there is no direct edge between them, then this weight will be updated. Okay, so let's get back. So if this is true, only then the weight will update according to this rule, and if this is not true, then the weight of the edge will be the new let's say distance of that particular visited edge, and this will go on for each and every edge. Okay, so I'll conclude this lecture here now, and we have completed the analysis and what Zastra's algorithm or the shortest path algorithm do, and in next algorithm we'll start with Warshall's algorithm, and presumably the last topic of this unit. Thank you.